Hey there, welcome back to the Yoga Club. My name is Chintamani Cloud, and in today's video, I'm going to be inviting us into a short and sweet flow practice that's designed for really an all levels practitioner. So if you have some experience with yoga, you might not find this that challenging, but if you don't have that much experience with yoga, then there might be some moments that are pretty spicy for you. So hopefully it's going to be the right balance and you'll find what you need, remembering to take your breath, your gaze, and your alignment with you. And we're going to be having lots of reminders to draw in our core as we move the body today. Modify as needed, and have a great rest of your day. Namaste. Let's start today's practice in a comfortable seated position. Perhaps you'll take on a half lotus position if the hips are open enough today, or just a simple seated cross-legged position so that we can focus on lengthening the spine, closing the eyes, and drawing the gaze within. You might start with some gentle shoulder rolls, lifting the shoulders up towards the ears, then drawing them towards the spine and beginning again as they roll forward, up, and back again. And after doing that a few times, we're going to rest with the shoulders back behind us. And now we're going to become a little bit more active in our seated pose. We're going to start to draw in through the abdominals as we widen the shoulders apart. And then come into some deep breathing as we inhale slowly and evenly in through the nose. Exhaling slowly and evenly out through the nose. Deep and sound breathing now as we start to awaken the body. We talk about taking the gaze towards the third eye center behind closed eyes. And this is a tool to quiet the mind so that we can become present in the body. And taking our firmly fixed gaze, our deep and sound breathing, and our full alignment through the spine with us now as we begin to add movement to the body is how we will create a moving meditation to start this day. Slowly blinking the eyelids open now and allowing the gaze to fix somewhere on the floor in front of you. We'll extend our arms out to the sides, turning our palms to face up. And as we inhale, we'll draw the arms up and overhead. As we exhale, we're going to retrace that circle. We're going to do that again 2 more times. Inhaling, we're going to lift the arms up. And exhaling, drawing them back down towards the floor. And really trying to engage the core here so that the shoulders stay locked in the girdle as we lift the arms up. Last time. And exhale to release. And now we're going to leave the right hand on the floor. We'll inhale the left arm up. Keeping the shoulder in the shoulder girdle, we start to lean out over towards the right as we exhale. We're going to anchor through the abdominals, drawing the belly in, the lower ribs too. And we'll use our right hand on the floor here as a kickstand, helping us to push down our left hip and our left knee as we lean out over towards the right. And we should feel a deep stretch along the inseam of the left side body. Let's inhale to lift up. And exhale to release, coming into second side now. Inhaling, right arm lifts. Exhaling, we lean out over towards our second side, towards the left. I use my kickstand arm. I start to bend through the elbow to help when I'm ready to go further into the stretch. We want to remember to anchor through the alignment of the spine, drawing the belly in towards it as we push down through the right hip and the right knee, keeping them going towards the floor as we stretch. Along the inseam of the right side body, right into the hip. We're going to inhale, we'll lift both arms up this time, and exhale our hands down to heart center for Anjali Mudra. We're going to pay attention to the shoulders as they may want to roll forward. And now I'm going to invite us to stretch out through the hands, pushing them into one another as we lift the elbows up. This should get us a nice stretch to the hands and the forearms and wrists. We'll take another inhale breath here, and now we're going to release our hands forward. Another inhale breath before we start to exhale and walk our hands forward. We're going to look away from the screen now and bring our gaze towards the floor. As we start to come forward, our sit bones, our hips might start to rise up, and we're going to push through our hands here on the floor. And we're going to keep our knees and keep our sit bones on the floor. And we're going to try to round through the spine as our forehead comes further down towards the floor. Maybe you're looking back at your own shins now, releasing through the neck and head. We're trying to lift the middle of the back out behind us as we draw in a hollow shape through our ribs and our core. And then we're going to inhale to lift up. And when we exhale, we're going to remember to draw the shoulders down the back. Okay, we're going to translate out of this shape now. So we're going to uncross our legs, maybe shake them out in front of us. And then we'll bring our feet to one side, our hands to the other, and we'll spiral over onto a tabletop position. Awakening the body through some cat-cow tilts at the spine. If the knees are sensitive, you can always use a towel or a blanket as a knee guard. And when we come into our tabletop position, before we find cat-cow, let's find an abdominal engagement. We want to push the shoulders away from the spine. We want to lift the head up as we tuck the chin in. So our shoulders are engaged as we protract the shoulders away from the spine. And now we're drawing our ribs and our navel in. On our inhale, we keep the core engaged as we roll the shoulders back. And as we exhale, we're going to roll the shoulders forward and try to draw the ribs and navel in a little more. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll aim for 2 more. Then we'll come back to a neutral position on our spine, and we're going to get ready to come to standing into a forward fold. So I'm going to lift onto my fingertips, step 1 foot forward up in between the hands, and then the other. And we're going to pause here in a forward fold, maybe taking a nice inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale as you start to push your hands in towards the floor. And for the next 2 breaths, we're going to remember to release the neck and head, looking back behind us between our legs. And as we inhale to come up to standing, we can let the arms dangle forward, keeping the chin tucked in. We unfurl slowly, and then we'll draw the shoulders up and back and move right into 2 more shoulder rolls. And 1 more. We'll turn the palms to face out, and we're going to get ready for some sun salutations. Our first sun salutation is going to have us coming back into a low lunge. And so I'm keeping my knee guard there, and you may enjoy that as well. We'll inhale our arms up. We're going to bring the hips up and come into a bit of a back bend. Exhaling, we dive back into our forward fold. On our inhale, we come to our half lift. Hands can stay on the floor or come to shins. And as we exhale, I'm going to plant my fingertips down and step my right foot back, dropping my right knee down. I can keep my toes curled under, or if it's comfortable to point the toes, we're going to engage through the glutes, tuck the tailbone under, and as we lift up, we draw the abdominal muscles in. Staying here for a couple more breaths. We want to draw in through the bandhas. We want to engage the muscles that live along the spine to stack the vertebrae so that we grow up nice and tall. We want to square the shoulders and hips off towards the front of our mat. And we'll take another inhale here. And as we exhale, we'll lower the hands down to frame the left foot, curling the right toes under. We're going to step back into a plank position. And we're going to remember to lift the head up, but tuck the chin in. We're widening the shoulders apart. We're tucking the tailbone under. We're drawing the glutes in, the core in for 1 more breath. And as we exhale to lower down, you can take full chaturanga or lowering the knees down. We create a plank position from shoulders down to the knees, and then we exhale and lower down. Gentle back bend, inhaling. I'm coming into a locust variation. Exhale and lower down. Now we're going to push back up through our modified push-up, and then lift the hips up and back into downward dog, and I'm going to step my feet in slightly. Remembering to look back behind you between your own legs, and maybe lifting one heel up and then the other to bicycle pedal the heels or walk the dog as you start to stretch out through the back side of the legs right down into your calves. And then we're going to inhale the right leg up and back, We're going to draw the right thigh up and into the chest to help step the right foot forward up in between the hands. Now I'm going to drop the left knee down. I'm going to establish my foundation and inhale to rise on an inhalation. We're tucking the tailbone under here. We're getting a deep stretch in the front side of the left hip and the quadricep. We're anchoring through the muscles along the spine. One more breath here. We'll take an inhale and then we'll exhale to release. Our hands will come down to frame the right foot. I'm going to stay on my fingertips this time, curling my left toes under. I'm going to step my left foot forward up to meet the right. Inhale to half lift, lengthen the spine, engage the core. Exhale, forward fold, release the neck and head to look back behind you. And as you come up to standing, think of engaging the legs, the glutes, the core as you come into a back bend. And then we lift up and find Samasthiti. We're going to do that again on left side. Inhaling, back bending. Exhaling, dive forward. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to plant the hands and step the left foot back, dropping the left knee down. One breath, one movement now. Inhaling to rise up. Exhale to release. Curl the toes under. Inhaling back to plank position. Exhaling to lower down. Inhaling into your back bend variation. Exhaling as you lower down. Inhaling as you come through your push-up. And exhaling as you draw back to downward facing dog. We'll inhale left leg up and back for one breath. Exhale as you draw the knee into the chest to place the foot forward up in between the hands. Dropping right knee down. Inhaling to lift up for one breath. Exhale to release. Curling the toes under, we're going to step the right foot forward up to meet the left. Inhale to our half lift. Exhale to our full fold. Inhaling into a back bend as hips comes forward and shoulders back. Exhale, Samasthiti. And we'll do some shoulder rolls to shake that out. Coming up, standing nice and tall. You can turn the palms to face out to help widen the shoulders apart and bring them down the back. Coming into his traditional sun salutation A now, without the back bend, we're going to stand up nice and tall as we draw all the muscles in towards the spine. Inhale, we look up, but we keep a flat back. Exhale, keep the core drawing in as we forward fold. Inhale to our half lift. Exhale to plank. You can float back to chaturanga or step back using the knees if you need to. Exhale and lower down. Maybe if you're ready for a cobra position or upward facing dog, and then we'll come right back into downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths here. Inhaling onto the balls of the feet, exhaling as we bend through the knees, walking or floating the feet forward. The feet come up to meet the hands. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale to your forward fold, and then we'll inhale up to standing. Exhale, Samasthiti. You can shake that out through some shoulder rolls. We'll get ready for sun salutation B now, coming into chair pose. We could keep the feet close together or widen them apart for more stability. We're going to create our alignment first, and when we come into chair, we want to just bend into the knees as we inhale our arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to half lift. Exhale back to plank position. You can float back or step back. Option to use the knees, or exhale, lower down. Maybe you'll come into upward facing dog if you're ready, where only hands and feet are touching the ground, and then we'll come into downward facing dog. We're going to inhale right leg up and back for a breath. Maybe you'll open the hip up. Exhale, draw the thigh into the chest to help get the foot up in between the hands. I'm going to move my knee guard out of the way for this sequence. Dropping left heel down. Inhaling, we'll rise up to warrior one now. Pulling right hip back. Drawing left hip forward. We're trying to square the shoulders off towards the front of our mat, the hips too. We'll stay here for one more breath. And exhale to release. Option to take a vinyasa, nice and gentle. If you need to use the knees, we can inhale to plank position. Exhale and lower down. Inhaling into cobra with hips down or lifted for upward facing dog. And we'll draw back into downward facing dog. Realigning the spine as we calm the mind and come back to the breath. We'll inhale, left leg lifts, maybe open the hip up. Exhale, draw the thigh and knee up into the chest. Establish your foundation and rising on an inhalation. Pulling left hip back, drawing right hip forward. We'll take one more inhale here. And we'll exhale to release. You can step right back to downward facing dog, or if you'd like to try for one more vinyasa, maybe using the knees if you need to. Inhaling and exhaling. Now we'll inhale onto the balls of the feet. Exhale as we bend through the knees, walking or floating the feet forward. The feet come up to meet the hands. We take an inhale to our half lift. Exhale to our forward fold. And we're going to bend at the knees and inhale up to chair pose. And exhale, Samastiti. And shaking that out if you need to. We're going to get ready to do some more movements. We'll bring the hands to the hips. And we're going to bend it to the knees and step into a wide-legged position. And we're going to inhale our arms out into a star shape. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our hands forward. If we need to utilize blocks or our fingertips, that's okay too. We'll take another inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to try to walk our hands back in space so that our hands come back to meet the feet. And in time, maybe we'll feel confident that we can wind the feet just a little bit apart as we start to bring the head towards the floor. Wherever you are, deep breathing. Now we'll inhale as we walk our hands forward and flatten the back. Exhale as we bend through the knees and float the hands to hips as we lift up to standing. And we're going to come into a triangle position. I'll be mirroring from here. We're going to bend into our left knee and turn our left toes out. And I'm going to heel toe my left foot so that my heels are in alignment. And as I inhale my arms up, I'm going to remember to pull this right shoulder back. Let's take an inhale as we extend over the left leg. And as we exhale, we're going to keep our core drawing in as we come forward into our triangle position. And as we're in this pose, we're going to continuously anchor through our core, our glutes, our quadricep, for one more breath, and then we're going to inhale to lift up and exhale, hands to hips. We're going to bend into the left knee, turn the left toes to face forward, and coming into second side now, bending into right knee, turning the right toes out. Heel toeing right foot over or left foot over, depending on what's more comfortable for you, so that you can get your heels into the same alignment. And then as you inhale your arms up, we often have a shoulder forward, so we want to make sure that we peel this left shoulder back until just the gaze out over the right fingertips. Then we can inhale over the extended right leg and exhale as we fall forward. Sometimes a person likes to have a block here, but you can also just place your hand on your leg. I prefer keeping the hand extended but pushing the back of the hand into the leg. What we actually need to focus on is engaging our core to support our body. If we engage our core and our glutes, then we can extend our torso away from our hips and be supported. With a little bit of pushing into the right hand, into that right knee, then we can stay balanced. We'll go ahead and inhale to lift up and exhale, hands to hips. We're going to bend into that right knee and turn the right toes to face forward. We're going to do one more posture from standing. Inhaling our arms up into a nice shoulder stretch. We'll exhale our hands together back behind us to interlace our fingers. You might be tempted to pull the hands together and the palms too, but what we're going to do is once the hands come together and the fingers are locked, we're going to widen the palms apart, and then we got to pull these shoulders back. Draw and anchor through the core and the glutes. We'll take an inhale breath here, and we're going to exhale into a forward fold. And if you're more comfortable, once you bring your head towards the floor, you can start to widen your feet apart. You could place your head on a block or a towel, and then use that as an anchor to help you get deeper into the shoulder stretch. 3 more breaths here. And then we'll try to come up to standing, holding the clasp. You can always release it first if you need to. Then we'll release our hands to our hips. We'll bend into our right knee, turn our right toes to face forward, and step the left foot forward up to meet the right. And we could shake it out. And we're gonna get ready to come down towards the floor to close this gentle flow practice. We're gonna use a sun salutation to make our way there. Inhaling our arms up. Exhale, diving forward. Let's inhale up to our half lift. And as we exhale, we're gonna plant through the hands. We're gonna step back right foot, drop the right knee down, and left foot to drop the left knee down. We're gonna come back to those cat-cow tilts of the spine. Widening the knees apart, widening the hands apart, drawing in through the core, rolling through the shoulders as we inhale and look up. Rolling through the shoulders as we exhale and tuck the chin in. 2 more times. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And then we're going to bring the knees together, sit down onto the heels, and come into a child's pose. We're going to try to keep these hips really close to the heels. And as we come forward, we're going to try to round through the spine and hollow out the belly as we try to bring the head towards the arms back behind us for 5 deep breaths. Massage the third eye center that might be on a towel or I'm going to invite us to hands back to forward position and inhale up to seated position. From here, we're going to spiral the legs forward, getting ready for a wide-legged forward fold position. I'll bring my hands to one side, the hips to the same side, and bring my legs together as we stretch the feet out in front of us. We're going to bring the hands back behind us to grow up nice and tall. Take an inhale breath here. And as we exhale, we're going to try to touch the toes, maybe the sides of the feet, maybe you're still working on getting towards the feet, and we're going to hold for 5 deep breaths, remembering to release the neck and the head so we're not looking at the screen. And we're going to look down at our knees or our shins. We'll take another few breaths here. And then we're going to inhale to lift up and lengthen the spine. Exhale to release, and we can shake that out. I'm going to invite us to widen the feet apart now, bringing our hands in forward in front of us. We'll take an inhale breath, and as we exhale, maybe our elbows can come to the floor. Many of us will be tight here, and the toes are going to want to tilt in. We're going to want to make sure that the toes are lifting up towards the ceiling, the knees too, and we're only going as far as is comfortable for us, where we can keep that external rotation through the thigh bones as we come forward. And if you're able to come all the way down towards the ground, we can reach up for the feet, grabbing the big toes. If you're still on your elbows, that's okay too. We want to be getting this stretch. That's part of the work. And then we'll straighten out our arms and inhale as we start to lift up to standing, drawing the legs in towards center to shake them out. And we're going to draw the soles of the feet together and bring the knees to widen apart. We're going to remember to open the feet up. They're going to want to stick real close together. And we're going to try to open them apart as we sit up nice and tall. Bringing those knees down. Let's take a nice inhale here. And we'll exhale. We'll try to bring our forehead to the floor in front of the feet. I'm going to actually be pulling on my own feet to help lengthen my spine and bring my head to the floor. That's going to bring my elbows towards my hips, and I'm going to be bringing my arms in alongside my body here. You see me tucking my elbows in as I come forward. I'm feeling a deep stretch in the inner thighs, in the hips. We want to be here for 2 more breaths. And then we'll inhale to lift up and exhale to release. And then we're going to be getting ready to bring our backs towards the floor. So I'm going to turn back this way for the demonstration. We're going to walk our glutes towards the front of the mat and come into a bent knee position with the soles of the feet on the floor. I'm going to bring my hands back behind me, pointing the fingers straight ahead. We're going to engage through the core, lengthen through the spine as we roll the shoulders back. And then we're going to bend into the elbows, lean back, and lift the feet up. We want to draw the core in, maybe straighten out the legs for 2 more breaths. And then we'll drop the feet down towards the floor. We'll bring our hands forward, tuck our chin in, and get a nice stretch through the middle of the back between the shoulder blades. And getting ready to come towards the floor. Now we'll bring our hands forward and we'll engage through the core as we tuck the chin in and roll all the way down. I'm going to bring my arms alongside the body. I'm going to lift up so that I can invite my shoulders to come towards the floor, engaging through the core as I bend into my knees and bring the soles of my feet towards the floor, about hip distance apart for bridge pose. If you've got a wheel practice and you're ready for that, you feel welcome to come into that. I'm going to cue us into bridge as we tuck the tailbone under. It's going to already start to lift and squeeze the glutes and hamstrings. We're going to keep that energy going as we lift the hips off the floor. We're pushing into the back of the neck and head. The chin is actually lifting away from the chest, but the chest is lifting up towards the chin as I roll my shoulders back. And 1 more breath. And release. And then we'll draw the knees in towards us. We're going to try to keep the knees in close together. Maybe you'll lift off the ground to give yourself a hug, and then draw the knees in as you bring the shoulders and head and neck back towards the floor. And 1 more breath. Coming into a child's pose now. You can grab around the backs of the thighs or knees, or bring if your hands are able to come towards your feet. And then we come into a nice happy baby, Maybe rolling a little bit to massage the lower back. And then we're going to lift the feet up towards the ceiling, and we'll bring our hands towards the floor. We're going to take some time to push the spine down in towards the floor as we lift the feet up towards the ceiling. And you might enjoy extending your arms along the sides, out to your sides in a T shape with the palms facing up, or maybe come into cactus shape with the arms. And maybe you'll do some ankle rolls while the feet are up here. Let me shake it out a little. All right. As the feet come back towards the floor, I'm going to invite us into a reclined butterfly position for our final rest, our relaxation pose, for our final pose. So take some time, maybe take some cleansing breaths as you find your alignment. And then if you're comfortable with closing the eyes as we draw the gaze within, we'll aim for 5 deep breaths here. Starting to re-extend the arms as we wiggle through the fingers. I'm going to extend my arms back alongside my body. And as I start to wiggle through the toes, bring my knees back up to center. Drawing my knees in towards the chest once again. Getting ready to come off of the floor now. I'm going to invite us to roll over towards our right side. And then make our way towards a seated position. Pushing into the hands to support ourselves, and really coming up slowly so that you can adjust to bringing the head back above the heart. I'm going to come into a half lotus position, but a simple seated cross-legged position is okay too. And as we adjust through some shoulder rolls, we'll remember to bring the shoulders back behind us, and then widening them apart to lock them into the shoulder girdle. When we engage through our abdominals, we'll feel ourselves growing up tall. And we'll remember to pull the head up and back so that we can feel ourselves lengthening right up our necks into the crown of our heads. I hope you found that this was a nice cleanse to have for your body this morning, or whenever you're choosing to make this practice, and I hope that you'll have a great rest of your day. Namaste.